So I'm gonna do a review of two stubbed ones, just two short manga that have yet to finish, and the likelihood of them ever actually finishing is low.
Okay, you're on.
Because I guess they just didn't do that well, or they're taking a break. But these are two stunted ones. The possibility to expand is still there, but in the recent months they have not updated them yet. So I'm going to review both Tripeace and Lives. I'll start with Tripeace first. Tripeace is a manga that is about a world plunged in war between two different countries. There's a country made completely out of cybernetics and cyborgs. And then there is a normal country. They seem Eastern, I guess, or they seem Asian, I guess, in style. They're at war with one another, and there's an organization that pops up called Tripeace, which is a grouping together of thousands of people with tremendous fighting ability, most of them, some of them not. But they're an organization that wants to eliminate war, period. And each of them have different methods. They follow the three important laws of Tripeace. And they all believe that they can eradicate war, but they also know that there is no definite answer to eradicate war. So the thing is that everyone has all these different ideas for eradicating war. So the entire organization is comprised of teams of people that all hold different fundamental beliefs for destroying war. And it's always peace, love, and something else. And that third option depends on what the group truly believes. For instance, there's one group who's peace, love, and violence, who believe war can only be stopped if you are the biggest and the baddest and you force everyone to stop. Then there's another one, one of my favorites, is peace, love, and money. This guy believes if you throw enough money at a situation, no one even wants to fight anymore. They're all about that. Another one is peace, love, and sex. They believe that if you ever get into a war, you just throw as many men and women and prostitutes into there as you can, and it will stop at some point. And this surrounds this one person named Nana. And he found this group of kids whose family had been killed. They were orphans. They stole I believe it was some money from him. And he cornered them and he took the money back, and it turns out they were war orphans. And so to cheer them up because they were crying, he crossplayed as their mama, and it calmed them down. And they ended up getting killed within the first couple of pages. After he calmed them down, the city got attacked. They were annihilated, they just got destroyed. And he sees Tripeace come and fight off both sides of both armies. He just fights, they come in and they fight them off of the town. And so he decides to join Tripeace, and his motto is peace, love, and cross-dressing. So this is all about him finding his place in this group that wants to eradicate war. And his reason for doing this is because he wants to avenge those children, but he knows an eye for an eye isn't going to fix anything. Their whole situation was brought into play because of war, so he's trying to figure out a way to eradicate war. But it turns out his past is shady. He doesn't remember much about his past, and something about his past has him connected to a group who believes that human beings in their basic instinct, they just fight. So we should just try to start as much crap as we can in order to weed all of the unworthy out. So they are advocates for war. They're a terrorist organization. They do whatever they can. And he has ties in there. So throughout the entire book, it's about 40 chapters, 41 chapters, I believe, 43 chapters. It's about his ascent through this organization, and also him him learning more and more about his past, and more about everyone's philosophy in wars, from soldiers to generals and things of that nature. It's mostly a comedy, though, because of the whole cross-dressing aspect of it. And it really, the beginning of the book, the first couple of chapters, are all about the fact that when he saw them fighting and they were losing, everyone knows about Tripeace, so he cross-dressed as one of the elite of Tripeace, but he's really weak. So he literally bluffed the enemy into thinking that he could just destroy them. And then the group that was there fighting, the actual real unit of Tribe, they actually played along with it. And one of their members, who was in the running to become one of the leaders of an individual faction, believed him to be an actual general. So they end up giving him a position of power, and she ends up giving him her position of power because she believes that he's more, she ends up following him, and they don't want to convince her that he's actually a man, and actually not a member of Tripeace. He lied about that, because she will kill him if that happens. She will just straight up murder him. So they give him a position of power to pacify her, and it evolves from there. All this crazy shit keeps happening because, anytime something happens to her, she always, hey, I know this general, so I'm gonna throw her into the mix, and he's just pretending to be a woman at the time, so he has to, throw his drawers on the table and I'll destroy you. And it's all about who's gonna call his bluff when. But it's a really funny one. I really like it. It's about 43 chapters, and
show us more pages, please.
So this is just the beginning chapter, showing you just some scenes of people dying.
Yeah,
and that's Nana.
Artwork.
It's not bad at all. It's actually really nice. Tripeace.
That's Nana. This is a city that is yet to be touched by war. It will.
Oh, and that's our main character who likes to cross-dress.
That's the main character who likes to cross-dress, Nana. And those are the kids taking the shit from him. But yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I really liked it. And then the next one is Lives. This one was one I've been paying attention to, but it just kind of stopped. And then actually today, when I looked at it, they added one more chapter, and then they haven't added anything since. And I've been watching this since I started this about 3 years ago. So it's been at 10 chapters. It's now at 11 chapters.
What's this one?
This one is Lives. This one is one about people in Japan. They're just living a normal everyday life, and a meteor just like this meteor hit the atmosphere, broke up into bits, and landed in different spots in Japan. And the people that got hit by that and died reawakened in this prehistoric Japan, and they have the ability to transform into these sort of chimera-esque creatures. And they hear one voice tell them to survive, to eat, kill, and survive. And that's all the instructions they're left with. So what ends up happening is it's about this story. It follows one person. It follows this one guy who was a martial artist, but he was always a pacifist. He just learned it just to learn it. And this little boy whose mother was a prostitute, and abused him and everything. And this one pop star who got hit by a meteor at one of her shows. They all end up in this place together, and they form a team together as omnivores. And it's really all about their journey through this land where people are forced to kill and eat one another, because every animal in this world at some point was a person, or still is the chimera-esque person, because apparently when you get to the point where you devolve beyond the reason of thought, you just become a freaking animal. So everyone on this planet at some point has been human, and it's people dealing with that and coming to terms with it. For instance, this was one of his partners at the dojo, the snake thing here, and when he met him, he thought he could talk to him, but at that point, he had abstained from eating anything for days. So the starvation and just isolating himself drove him crazy, and he became that and attempted to eat them. And the main character is forced to kill him. As you can see, he's trying to stop someone else from killing him, and they end up having to kill him anyway. But it's all about that, and it's all about it's all about people's perspectives in this world and the crazy stuff that they have to go through. One of my favorite aspects is that they're going through sort of everyone's experiences. There's this brother and this sister. The brother's not too smart, and the sister's even dumber than the brother. Mm-hmm. And they end up getting trapped in this world. And the brother's transformation is this sort of Minotaur-esque thing. So he can eat leaves and stuff. And the sister can't eat leaves. She can't eat fish. And she can't eat any vegetables or any fruits of any kind. And the brother's trying his hardest to figure out what it is that she can eat. And he just runs out of ideas, and she's getting to the point, it's been weeks, she's about to starve to death. So he finally figures it out, she's a carnivore, she has to eat meat. So he's forced to go out, and he hunts down this one girl who it was from his school. She had turned into a rabbit. He hunted her down, he killed her, he dragged her home. And the sister at this point was driven mad by starvation, so she's like, I smell something, it smells good. And he's like, it's okay, I'm gonna help you. And the sister is actually a T-Rex. So when he brings her home, when he brings the dead rabbit anthropomorph girl home, the sister eats both of them. And then when she goes back to her human form, she can't remember any of this. And then she meets up with our main characters. So now they have to deal with that mess. There's a T-Rex that chases them around at night, and in the morning it just disappears.
It's like my everyday life.
But it's really good. I really liked it. I would recommend it. So far, it's only 11 chapters though. So again, another stunted one. They say it's ongoing. I don't see them finishing it anytime in the future. But those are just two of the ones I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it's I've seen this kind of genre before. It's kind of like this sort of lost sort of genre. So kind of like how, what was it? Cage was?
Cage of Eden.
Cage of
I
Eden,
can.
yeah.
It's a lot like Cage of Eden, except the dinosaurs and stuff. Imagine them also being people.
Yep. And I guess about as edgy or something. I don't know.
I mean, it looks as though it would be etchy, but it's really, it is. But I mean, whenever you see someone naked, chances are they're going to turn into something just disgusting.
Yeah.
So you get a panel of etchy, and then it's just like horrible mantis creature.
Well, have these characters transformed yet?
This is them discovering it. The little boy actually turns into this. The only thing I describe it is he turns into a raptor that can also shoot lasers.
Sounds terrifying.
Which is why I wanted to, because it seemed like they just turned into, like the main character, this guy, the pacifist, he turns into, he's like a badger. He's like this big, just big badger thing. It's just this big ass hairy badger thing. He looks like the. He looks like Bigfoot except with claws and stuff. And then like his friend here turns into this gigantic. He literally turns into like a praying mantis. But then you have the boy who just breaks all genres. He's a T-Rex that can shoot lasers.
Which is cooler than anything else. And the other?
You're a mythical creature. Suck it.
That was my favorite game ever, by the way.
Which one?
Panzer Dragoon.
Ah.
It's a dragon that shoots lasers.
The dragon that shoots lasers.
Okay.
Ladies' order.
That's her transformation right there. Like, if you look closely at it, that's her head.
That's her face.
That's her face on the T-Rex's everything.
That's awesome. That's kind of Dead Spacey right there.
It is.
Ah, Dead Space.
Yeah, I'll think of stuff though. Probably for a movie.
Did you find it? You said that girl was a
Was it who?
the student that he went to school where the girls were doing all that. Was she her normal size, or dragon form, or did
She was like, yeah, she was her normal size, but with like huge,
Yeah, but there's
huge
still-
thighs and legs because rabbits
Okay, sign off.
and stuff.